In addition to that, your counter receptacles. Now, any length of counter space is dictated in the code book. It's all in metric too, but if there's a good rule of thumb is if you see an area of counter space and if you could fit a microwave on it, you're going to want to put a plug there. If there's a sink there, you can't put a plug there. Don't put a plug behind the sink. That's common sense, but it's also stipulated in the Canadian Electrical Code. In addition to that, all your counter spaces, the plugs are going to be split if it's a 15 amp circuit, which means it's two circuits, and that's 15 amp 2-pole breaker, not two single pole 15 amp breakers, but a split 15 amp receptacle, meaning you're going to break that hot tab and have a hot feeding each side. So you're going to have a 3 conductor 14 running back to your panel, and you're going to split those receptacles. That's a whole lot of 14 gauge wire, and it's a whole lot of split plugs, and it's a whole lot easier if you just run 12 gauge to each plug. So you can have 20 amp receptacles run from 12 gauge wire, and you can stagger those along your kitchen countertops. That way you can get away with a little bit fewer circuits, and it's also easier in the long run if you need to run your Hamilton Beach or your pressure cooker or whatever high draw electrical load you have in your kitchen, from toasters to blenders, etc. Also, within 1.5 meters of any sink measurable along the wall line, you're going to want to have a GFCI outlet. That means that if you have a split receptacle and you run a 3 conductor 14 to a 15 amp GFCI, that just won't fly because you can't break the tab on a 15 amp GFCI. Correct me if I'm wrong, and feel free to leave a comment in the comment sections below, but there is no tab on no manufacturer that manufactures 15 amp GFCI outlets. For this reason, it is another good call to just run 12 gauge wire to your kitchen, because whenever you are within 1.5 meters of a water source and there is no appliance dedicated to cover up that receptacle, you're going to have a GFCI outlet. That GFCI outlet needs to basically be a 20 amp GFCI. So if you're reusing existing wiring to cut costs, it might just be better to run all 12 gauge depending on your situation. However, sometimes there's not enough room or the access to the panel is too difficult. So in those cases, maybe reuse those old wires. But if you're within 1.5 meters of a sink, water source, etc., you'll find that in section 26 of the Canadian Electrical Code Book. Then again, you're going to want a 20 amp receptacle fed with 12 gauge wire. That's here in Edmonton, Alberta. We are your Edmonton electrician. This doesn't apply to the NEC, the National Electrical Code. This all applies to the CEC, the Canadian Electrical Code, and that is what we abide by along with all of its great amendments here in Edmonton and area. Again, for your kitchen, you're going to have your pot lights. Maybe you have 4 in a small kitchen, maybe you have 6 medium-sized kitchen, maybe you have dropped a wall and you're combining a kitchen and a dining room. Maybe then you might have 8 to 12 pot lights depending on your size, whether you want 4-inch pot lights or 6-inch pot lights. Make sure they're vapor barrier compliant if you do have a vapor barrier in your ceiling. Otherwise, that's not allowed, and they will find that later in a home inspection or in other cases. Another thing to remember too when you're doing your under cabinet lighting is you want to know what type of under cabinet lighting you're going to install before you finish the walls, because if you're going to finish and put a backsplash, you're not going to be drilling holes into those walls after the fact. So you want to determine if you're going to have LED strip lighting, or if you're going to have maybe an LED hard fixture, or if you're going to have puck lights, or if you're going to retrofit fixture lighting into the cabinetry. Some cabinet designers allow for that. If you're going to have glass shelves and maybe a single puck light or a strip of lights to have an accent shelf unit in your kitchen cabinetry, that's another option. Pretty typical for what we'll install is LED strip lighting. You can cut it to length, you can crimp them on, you can adapt them just about however you want. They're very user friendly. They use 3M tape backing, and we'll put them close to the front of your countertop because that's what's going to disperse the most light. And when we put them close to the front of your countertop, they will typically be covered by a valance that your cabinet guy is going to install. So that valance might be 1.25 inches, 2 inch, 3, 4 inch, however thick they want to have that overhang of your cabinetry. That's what's going to cover up that light and give that nice glow that you're going to see. If you want to have your lights dimmable or non-dimmable, that's something that you need to tell your electrical contractor before they buy the lights, because if they buy non-dimmable because it's cheaper and that's what they quoted you with, then you're not going to be happy when you try to put a dimmer on it and now it's flashing really bright on and off and it's giving you that stroboscopic effect. Your lights have to be compatible with your dimmer switches. Most name brand dimmer switches and most name brand lights that you're going to buy from a wholesaler or your supply house, they're going to be compatible. However, if you're buying off of third-party sources, or maybe you're buying off that massive online website that sells just about everything, those might not be compatible. You're going to want to check that and make sure you're ready to return it if the case may be. Another thing to remember too, tamper-resistant outlets. So in any residential dwelling or childcare facility, etc., you're going to find that you need tamper-resistant outlets. What this means is that you cannot stick a paper clip or a screwdriver into one terminal of that plug without having another item sticking into the other side of that plug. And what this effectively does is when you stick an appliance cord into an outlet, you're going to be sliding open both of those little white plastic doors on both the hot and the neutral terminals, or the hot and identified terminals of that plug, and letting you plug it in successfully. The whole point of a TR outlet is so that kids, little children, can't stick things in that outlet and get a shock. So they're a great unit to have. If you're on a countertop, you don't necessarily need that, but hey, why wouldn't you? Maybe things get busy, maybe you have a baby, maybe you got 14 things on the go and you need to change your diaper on a countertop. Anything, just stock TR receptacles. As an electrical contractor, all we stock is tamper resistant for dwelling units, spec grade for commercial units, and that makes it a whole lot easier. That way you cannot throw a non-TR receptacle into a home without going out and buying it separately. We put all TR receptacles into homes, just tamper resistant. That's what keeps it nice and easy. That's what goes on our templates and check sheets, and that's what makes our jobs all pass inspection and give our customers the service that they deserve with the quality electrical that they should know and expect. And that's what keeps our name trustworthy out there. So if you are looking to have a kitchen renovation and you need any questions on electrical, give us a call. If you want a free estimate on your kitchen electrical for your renovation, give us a call at 780-935-0622. We are your Edmonton electrician. We pride ourselves in doing professional electrical contracting, and if email works for you better than contacting us directly by phone, then the best email address to get a hold of us is info@hauerpower.ca. That's info@hauerpower.ca. So from all of us here at Hauer Power Electrical, we really want to hear from you. If you have any topics, concerns, questions, or comments, leave them in the comment section below, or give us a call directly and say, hey, you know what, I seen your videos, they look terrible, because they do. Give us a call and say, hey, we want to hear more about this. Can you elaborate into this topic? And we'll shoot a video on that. We'll do some research on that, and we'll get you some answers that you want. So again, from all of us at Hauer Power Electrical, we look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to giving you power. Have a great day, Edmonton. Take care.